to the Roadmap, Benzinga's NFT show. We've had some great interviews, past episodes, Pixel Vault, Art Blocks, Robotos, The Doge Pound, Oniforce, Crypto Dads, Lazy Lions, Supduck, Sappy Seals, and more. We also have some NFT merch coming soon. Stay tuned for that. Today's episode, you guys have been asking for it. We've been previewing it for the past couple of weeks. It is time to talk Super Bowl because we have a series of cryptocurrency and NFT news items and rumors surrounding the big game being held this Sunday. So stay tuned so you can hear about the commercials and what NFTs might need to be on your radar heading into the weekend. Don't go anywhere. This is the Roadmap. All right, guys, thanks to all our wonderful viewers and listeners. If you are joining us live on YouTube right now, go ahead and smash that like, subscribe to Benzinga's YouTube channel, and leave a comment in the chat. Let us know that you are here. I see Born to be Free, of course, telling everyone to smash that like. So shout out to Born to be Free for getting us kicked off here. I want to give a special shout out to our friends at FTX who are sponsoring today's episode. So FTX is one of the largest cryptocurrency exchanges in the world in terms of trading volume and daily users. The FTX app is used by over 6 million people to buy crypto and NFTs. No transaction or withdrawal fees from your phone or computer. And that FTX trading platform features Ethereum and Solana NFTs with no gas fees. You can find out more by going to ftx.us and clicking the link in the description below on this video and also pinned to the chat right now. So again, big shout out to our friends at FTX, and we're going to be talking about them a little bit later on when we get into Super Bowl commercials. Getting ready to bring on, it looks like Brian is ready to go. So it is time to bring on my co-host, Benzinga's own Brian Moir. What's going on, Brian?
Oh, just living the dream like always. Excited for the Super Bowl for sure.
So excited. Here I am rocking my Matthew Stafford Lions jersey. The Lions will not be playing in the Super Bowl. I know, not a big surprise to anyone out there, right? They still have never appeared. But hey, next year's our year, right, Brian?
Yeah, that's right.
That's what they say. But
Go
Matthew
Titans.
Stafford, former Lion, will be appearing in the Super Bowl. So I will be cheering him on and rooting for the Rams. Let us know in the chat, guys, who are you rooting for? Is it the Rams? Is it the Bengals? And with that being said, we actually put out a poll that I'll probably use for an article. So make sure you vote and also leave a comment. And that Twitter poll is, what are you most excited about for Super Bowl 46? Is it the game, the Rams versus Bengals? Is it the commercials? Is it the halftime show, Eminem, Kendrick Lamar, Dr. Dre, Mary J. Blige, and Snoop Dogg? Or is it our topic today, crypto and NFTs? So look at that vote, Brian. It's looking pretty even. When I saw earlier today, crypto and NFTs had a big lead, but it looks like we do have a lot of sports fans out there too that, care about, after all, it is the Super Bowl. It's a football game. But look at crypto and NFTs getting a lot of love in this poll. What is your pick, Brian? I know I wanted to select all four, but if you had to pick one, what are you most excited about?
Shoot. It's hard. I mean, I love football in general, so I'm excited about the game. I like, from, I guess we'll call it a business standpoint and what we do as an enthusiast standpoint, the crypto and NFT side, I'm pretty excited about and see what that means. I know we'll talk a lot more about it in a second, but to see what that really means for, the crypto space, and to see how some of these companies, the rise they've had in the last 5 years, getting to the point where they're owning freaking arenas that host the Super Bowl or different sporting events, and they just started out of nowhere. and rose to these billion-dollar companies. I mean, it's crazy. It's awesome. And I cannot wait to see what, the Bored Apes have in store, what crypto.com, Coinbase, all these different platforms and projects have in store for the Super Bowl itself. So I'm excited for that.
Definitely. Well, Brian, that is going to get into some of our first topics here. So, let's talk Super Bowl commercials first. So, I want to remind everyone again, Super Bowl 46 will air live on NBC on Sunday. The game kicks off at 6:30 Eastern time. Super Bowl commercials cost around $6.5 million this year, Brian.
No big
Some
deal.
even going for $7 to $8 million, again, depending on when it airs, if it is a primetime spot or not. I mean, Brian, it is an exciting year. You and I have both talked about this. Over the years, we've seen a lot of consumer product companies, vehicle companies, movie companies use the Super Bowl as a way to get their ad in front of millions of people, right? It's the most televised event of the year. So while that cost seems high, it's also the biggest audience you can get, in one swoop with a 30-second ad. So to me, if you're a company and you have the money to do it, I still think it's worthwhile. So with that being said, we are getting a lot of crypto commercials this year, which is really interesting and exciting times for the space. So up first, our friends from FTX, Brian, will air their first ever Super Bowl commercial. And we talked about this week. This is really exciting because not only are they airing a Super Bowl commercial to try to get new users, they're airing a Super Bowl commercial and giving away Bitcoin to their users and to people for watching. So as I said yesterday, the Super Bowl commercial will air in the second half of the game, and whatever time it airs at will be the amount of Bitcoin they are giving away. So for example, they're on the screen, 8:38 p.m. That would mean that they're giving away 8.38 in Bitcoin. So we will find out on Sunday how much. As soon as that commercial airs, you can head over to the FTX Twitter account, retweet that tweet, follow the rules, and have your chance to win. Brian, this is really exciting because our friends at FTX sent over their Super Bowl commercial to us today, and here it is on screen.
What?
So you don't even have to wait until the Super Bowl. You do
retweet it.
You do to enter the contest. I want to stress that. Great point, Brian. You can't win the Bitcoin yet, but here is that Super Bowl commercial featuring Tom Brady. I mean,
what?
Great use there.
The GOAT.
The GOAT, and there is his wife, Giselle, of course. So both being featured. They have started FTX ads before. I mean, Brian, is this an upgrade that Tom Brady retired and now he gets to be in Super Bowl commercials? I mean, it's probably more of a lateral move there, but if you can't play in the Super Bowl, I guess be in a Super Bowl ad.
I mean,
right?
He's probably making the same amount of money. And I just wanted to say, can you scroll back the video a little bit, Alyssa? Just like a little bit more, back to where they're at the building. One more. Right there. Oh, where the ribbon cut. Right there. That's from Parks and Rec. Did you guys notice that? I just noticed that. I just thought that was really
oh, yeah, maybe Polar.
If anyone watches Parks and Recreation, that right there was from Parks and Recreation.
Nice.
I think it's in Philadelphia, though. I don't know. But yeah, I think it's pretty cool that I got distracted.
Tampa Bay. Now I see it. Welcome to Tampa Bay. They changed the Tampa Bay sign. See, they are so clever over there at FTX. And I mean, free Bitcoin, Brian. Like, that is exciting.
Lots of it, too.
Yeah, lots of it. FTX has already done some commercials with Tom Brady before, but it's really cool to see them utilize him once again. Here we have another commercial. So
he's big into Web3 and NFTs and crypto too. Like it's his, like, I think that's his new passion, and what he wants to spend the rest of his like retirement and life doing is advocating for Web3, which I'm all about.
And he actually said one of his focuses now, along with his family, is going to be his NFT company called Autograph, right? So Autograph is partnered with DraftKings, so you can get some NFTs on their platform, including some Tom Brady ones. They actually had some Gronkowski ones that I believe went live today between Autograph and DraftKings. But yeah, FTX Super Bowl commercial. Again, airing in the second half of the game. I'm going to throw out a guess that it airs right around, like, let's call it 9:09 p.m. Eastern time. But again, that's just a guess, and you don't win anything for being right. Brian, do you have a guess or no?
No, but maybe before the first half is over.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe,
Well, I
so
think
that
they
would
said
be like
second
what,
half. Second
7
half.
or 8. I'll say before the first. So I'll go with like it's 6:30 Eastern here. So I'd say around 8:30.
Okay.
I don't know. We'll see.
We will see. So we will find out. Again, FTX Super Bowl commercial. So let's dive in. We've got more commercials to talk about, not just FTX, although that is one that is pretty exciting with the Bitcoin giveaway. Coinbase is also doing a Super Bowl commercial. Coinbase, of course, publicly traded. So here at Benzinga, we know the Coinbase story well. Coinbase has not shared their commercial to my knowledge, Brian. So they're being a little bit more secretive. They haven't announced a promotion at all. I did see some ramblings and rumors that maybe they launched their NFT marketplace after the Super Bowl, and that they're using this big event to kind of be the all-in approach. I mean, that would be a huge deal, right?
That would be.
But otherwise, what do you think of Coinbase? Do you think that they use it to promote NFTs, or do you think they're just going to kind of show off their trading platform and trading cryptos?
Let's say if I was their marketing head of the marketing department, I would definitely push the NFT platform. Everyone really already knows about Coinbase.
Yep.
I mean, obviously, you see Coinbase, you're gonna know what's up. But I'd highly suggest pushing the NFT marketplace and trying to get a stranglehold on that. So that's what I think would happen.
Definitely. Well, we will find out on Sunday again. I have not seen their commercial. Maybe it'll come out in the next couple days. That is the thing. I mean, Brian, when I was a kid, I remember you always had to wait until the Super Bowl aired, right, to see all these commercials. Now, of course, we get to see a lot of them before, which does take away a little bit, but it also leads to more, conversation like this about the big game. So another company, they're no stranger to the Super Bowl, Anheuser-Busch, right? The owner of Budweiser, Bud Light, and hundreds of beer brands. They, of course, have some of the most well-known Super Bowl commercials of all time, right? You got the frogs, you got the What's Up guys, you got the Clydesdale horses, and the list goes on. Well, they are going to be promoting their Bud Light Next brand, which is a zero-carb beer that was just released this week. And we showed off that commercial yesterday, and featured in that commercial, Brian, is the Nouns DAO glasses. And if you don't know Nouns DAO, you'll be able to see it here in the commercial right there. Perfect job from our producer there, getting the glasses on screen. And Brian, this is a big deal because to me, as someone who follows NFT, I know what Nouns is, right?
Yeah.
But if you do not know what Nouns is and you see this ad, do you think that people then are going to search and look for, hey, what were those glasses in that Bud Light commercial? What is Nouns DAO? Does Nouns DAO get a ton of attention this weekend? I'm led to believe so, right? Yeah. So with that being said, the Nouns collection on OpenSea, there's only 204 with an 86 ETH floor. Now, Brian,
277,000. I was just doing the math. It's $277,000 for the lowest price one.
Yeah. Now, Brian, I don't have enough to buy a Nouns NFT, right?
I want a house before I get a Noun.
Yeah, and I don't own any. But with that being said, again, not financial advice, but there are a couple of projects out there that are Nouns inspired. They're not official, not from the company, but they were pretty well known when they released. We had Noundles, which has a 0.08 ETH floor, and Noun Punks, which has a 0.06 ETH floor. Not to say that these have long-term value or a huge roadmap, but do you think we start to see some of these Noun, knockoffs or Noun inspired derivative plays? Do you think we see a run on those next week?
Yeah, because I think there's always some of that FOMO that happens. The thing with the nouns, which is really cool, is how they set it up and why these guys are so expensive. It's not really the artwork really at all that makes it expensive. It's your ticket into the DAO itself, and they auction them off daily, and it's every day in perpetuity. Is I'm saying that right? Where it's going to happen forever. It's never going to stop. So every single day, every 24 hours, they auction a new one and someone wins each time. So maybe down the road, they might get a little cheaper, but it's really cool how they do that. And once you have one, you're always in it. And there's just a lot of really cool things that they're doing. So if you haven't checked out Nouns DAO, definitely check them out. And this partnership with Budweiser is huge for, more than just them, but it's really cool how they have everything going down.
Yeah, definitely. So again, Nouns is going to be featured in that Bud Light commercial. And again, if you don't know what nouns are, they're going to get a lot of attention. So it's not financial advice, but Brian, I definitely looked at some of those derivative plays today. And I kind of feel like we could see a run on noun plays next week. I also think, of course, some of these other projects we're going to talk about may get some derivatives made or a run as well. So keep an eye on nouns, keep an eye on, some of those derivatives, and maybe it can be a short-term trade next week like a stock would be. But again, not recommending, not financial advice, just kind of what I am watching going into the game. Brian, we also have a Super Bowl ad coming from crypto.com. So crypto.com, kind of similar, where they have a crypto trading offering. They also have NFTs, right? I actually saw they just launched NFTs of Terry Bradshaw, the legendary Super Bowl quarterback. So what do you think? Do you think crypto.com uses the Super Bowl to promote crypto, NFTs, or kind of a mix of both?
I'd say it's going to be probably 80-20 NFTs crypto, because they are really pushing their NFT stuff out. I mean, I get so many emails and different things. I see their NFT platforms everywhere. I don't personally use crypto.com very often, but I did whenever their NFT platform first dropped, and there wasn't this huge race against OpenSea and everybody before OpenSea kind of was the main one go to. And it's pretty cool, but they kind of price out, and they had a lot of big sponsorships and a lot of big collaborations with like big celebrities. So you're kind of priced out. But I'd highly, I think that they're going to definitely push the NFT marketplace, because that's what everyone's doing. And that's what's making money right now.
Yeah, and crypto.com, I mean, for those who aren't familiar, they already have been airing lots of commercials, right? They're the ones who have Matt Damon, right? So it is the future favors the brave or fortune favors the brave is the slogan that they're using, right? And there it is. And you see Matt Damon kind of walking through different times of history, and then, talking about it's a commercial, of course, kind of for Bitcoin, right? So to me, I feel like you said, Brian, crypto.com, I think they use their commercial to talk about NFTs, right? They've already kind of gotten the crypto story, the Bitcoin story out there. I think it's probably time to, do something else and create more brand awareness. So we'll see. I also saw in the chat, while we're on the topic of Matt Damon, where was it? Tomo said Coinbase is rumored to have made a production with Ben Affleck, directed by and also starring Jimmy Kimmel. So, I mean, Brian, we see lots of celebrities in Super Bowl ads. So this, of course, wouldn't be a big surprise, right, if there was a celebrity in the Coinbase ad. But I think it'd be pretty interesting if we saw, Ben Affleck and Matt Damon, who are, like best friends, kind of on different sides and different crypto companies here. That could be a good storyline. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I mean, that is definitely interesting. I've never heard this rumor, and if it's true, it's wild. And I don't know what Jimmy Kimmel, like. He has a Bored Ape, but I don't think he's really into crypto. I don't know much about it. I just know he does have a Bored Ape and has talked about NFTs on his show. But it's just a strange mix of people that are getting into it and who Coinbase can reach and whatnot. That's kind of neat.
Definitely. And then also we have SoFi. So SoFi isn't necessarily the NFT side, but they are crypto. They have a crypto trading platform. And if you don't know, of course, the game Super Bowl 46 will be played at SoFi Stadium. So you're going to hear
Boom.
SoFi a ton this weekend, right? And
Mhm.
they are also airing a commercial. And again, it's another one where I haven't heard exactly what they're doing with their commercial. They do have a bank charter that just happened. They're trying to get people to ditch their banks and sign up for SoFi accounts. So the question is, do they use the Super Bowl to try to get banking customers? Or knowing that there's other crypto companies, airing ads, do they try to go after that crypto crowd? What do you think, Brian? What's the
I'd
best
say
play for SoFi here?
so. From what I can see, that how they market themselves is they have the APY and the staking kind of aspect, but it's like really easy, user friendly. You don't even have to be in crypto to do it. They are also one of the ones kind of like Coinbase, where not your keys, not your crypto, but it is safe there. So it's not like a worry that something's going to happen to it. I'd imagine they're going to go after the banking customers over the like trying to take away from Coinbase or other ones for like crypto trading only, because they don't really have a lot to offer on the crypto like day-to-day trading, like if you want to be an active crypto trader. But they do have a whole lot if you want to hold and gain an APY and have it easy, like a better savings account, and just utilize what crypto and blockchain cryptocurrency is made for, and gaining money and kind of being on that side of the ballpark.
Yeah, definitely. And the nice thing about all these rumors and all these guesses from Brian and I is we're only a couple days away. So we're going to get those questions answered, on Sunday during the game. Another crypto company related to the Super Bowl, we have Binance. Binance, Brian, I think you saw this, is Binance is running a kind of Super Bowl promotion, right? Not necessarily a Super Bowl commercial, but they are going to give away NFTs during the game. And what they're doing, this
Cool.
is really interesting because we just talked about Matt Damon, Ben Affleck. If you can scroll down, Alyssa, I want to make sure I get this right. And Ryan's in the chat who wrote this, but I'm pretty sure that the thing with Binance is that every time there's a celebrity in a crypto commercial, they are giving away a POAP to people that are watching the game.
Those are cool too. I like those a lot.
Yes. So their new ad is kind of don't listen to celebrities about crypto, which is really interesting because we're seeing a lot of celebrities in crypto commercials. So it's kind of a way for Binance to kind of differentiate themselves. Although I will say that Binance also uses some athletes in their promotions. So it's a little interesting there. You can see them right there. And a musician, of course, J Balvin there, Jimmy Butler, an NBA player. But this is interesting, Brian. So again, is this a good way for a crypto company, maybe if you don't buy a commercial, to still run a promotion with the big game going on, to reward some of your users and maybe new users? What do you think?
I think it's a great idea. And I really kind of like that aspect of they're like, hey, don't listen to all this. Like, be a part of the whole movement as a whole. Don't just listen to certain celebrities at once, but or whatnot, just be a part of it. And everyone likes free stuff. And the coolest part about like these POAPs or any of these free NFTs is they have a lot of potential to actually have monetary value. So unlike some other free stuff that you get that just is kind of cool little trinket or a cool little image or something, some of these can actually be like heirlooms, and like you can hold on to them for a while, and you have a piece of history, because this is the first time this has ever happened in all of the history of the world. So right now this Super Bowl itself is making history. So just having something to commemorate that is pretty damn cool.
Yeah, definitely. Well, that is what I've got for kind of our Super Bowl commercials segment. So again, if you didn't have a chance to vote in our Twitter poll, make sure you do so for what you are watching or most excited about: the game, the commercials, the halftime show, or crypto/NFTs being featured, throughout. Because I really think that's interesting. And again, I'm excited to do an article about, what our Benzinga fans are most excited about for the biggest game of the season. Well, Brian, along with commercials, we've got plenty more to talk about with the big game. So a story we chatted about last week was the continuation of sports NFTs, and everyone who attends Super Bowl 46 is getting a free NFT through a partnership with Ticketmaster and the league. So if you didn't know, during the season, the NFL did kind of these ticket replicas as NFTs. I believe they are on, the Polygon blockchain. I was able to buy some of the team ones, but I've not gotten any of the playoff ones yet. But what do you think, Brian? They're going to give these away for free. What percent of people that attend the game do you think try to list those right away and maybe make some of their Super Bowl ticket price back? And do you think a ton of people that missed out on going to the game, are going to scoop these up as a memorabilia item?
I think you'll have a lot of people. Well, you don't know, because I just said, like how I just said, that this is a part of history and this has never been done before, and there's a new stuff, so it can go either way. There'll be a ton of people that are gonna sell to make a profit, because like we were talking about it off air, where I was thinking about buying one of the NFL tickets that commemorates the Super Bowl game against the Rams and Bengals. And we talked about it last week on the show, and I came close to buying one, but I was like, I don't know if I want to or not. And so I ended up not. And then the next day they were only $295 for one. And the next day they were selling for like $1,200. I don't know how much they are now, but yeah, I mean, I think you can make an easy money. I don't think you'll make your money back on your Super Bowl tickets, because those are pretty pricey, plus parking and everything you did. But you can still make enough. I think that, holding it is more valuable than trying to sell it and make a profit, or try to make a, null and void your cost. But, it's to each their own. I think that they're pretty cool. And I think that holding it has a lot more value and a lot more potential than trying to rip it off from the get-go.
Yeah, I mean, definitely an interesting take. I was looking at the site, and I mean, Brian, you're right. The road to the Super Bowl. So the one that features the Rams, the cheapest price is $1,250, and the one that has the Bengals, the cheapest price is $1,050. And again, those were priced at $295. It's actually interesting because the conference championship game of the Rams is only selling for $199, which is what it priced at. And the divisional playoffs, same thing, $149, which is how much it was priced at. So the ones that actually say Super Bowl on them and have the Super Bowl logo, we're already seeing heavy demand for those. So I think that bodes well for these tickets, from the game. And the one thing, Brian, we talk all the time about supply, right? So when you have a collection like Bored Apes, right, where there's 10,000, so there's only going to be 10,000, right? That's not that many to think about. There is capacity at SoFi Stadium of 70,240. So assuming everyone goes and claims their NFT, which I'm guessing not everyone will, right? Because some people won't, or just don't know about it. There could be over 70,000 of the Super Bowl tickets. So do you think the high supply could hurt, these being listed for a super high price? But again, they're free. So anyone who lists, they're making money off of it. They got it for free for going to the game. So I don't know if you get one, I don't know what you'd even start the list at, right? Because if you're the first one to list, you get to kind of set the bar, and everyone's going to undercut you. So I'll definitely be watching, on probably Monday or Sunday night to see what these start to get listed for, because I really think fans are going to want a piece of history here if your team ends up winning the Super Bowl. So, of course, if the Rams win the Super Bowl, the Rams fans.
It's speculative on that. And, like, maybe something crazy happens and, we break a record. I mean, it all depends on what happens during the game. If nothing special happens and it's just a normal game, where I guess that's kind of impossible at the Super Bowl. But, like, if nothing, if it's just like a back and forth and it's kind of boring, maybe it might go a little lower. But I'm assuming this is going to be a pretty big one. And I think that coming even like closer to Sunday, we're going to see even more surprises come out from different companies with different, different marketing strategies, different programs, and different like giveaways and all this crazy stuff. So it's like, I think I've said it maybe 5 times now. This is the first time it's ever happened, and I'm very excited to see where it all goes. I can't wait.
Yeah. So with that being said, Brian, not just the commercials, not just the fans, we also have, some players and some halftime performers to talk about. So I want to bring up Von Miller first. So if you don't know, for our viewers and listeners out there, Von Miller is a defensive player for the Los Angeles Rams. He's a former Bronco. He is one of the key building pieces that the Rams, did to really give them a shot to win the Super Bowl. They added Von Miller, they added OBJ, who we're going to talk about in a minute, and of course added Stafford. And they gave up a ton of draft picks, a ton of capital to do this. But Von Miller, look at that profile right there. You can already see that he loves him some NFTs. So that is a Clone X right there. So Clone X, of course, from Artifact, that was acquired by Nike. I mean, this is already one of the biggest NFT projects out there, well known. I'm trying to pull up the floor price right now. But what do you think, Brian? Like, if people say Von Miller has a great game, are people going to look up Von Miller on Twitter? Are they going to see that profile again? Are they going to search and ask, hey, what is his profile picture? What NFTs does Von Miller own? Is Clone X going to see, some possible interest over the Super Bowl? We've already got a floor of 13.99, but I mean, if the Rams win, I tend to think that Von Miller is going to kind of help that project out. What do you think?
Oh yeah, well, I know for a fact there's I'm getting a lot of people even now, like family and friends and people from that I haven't talked to in forever, are always messaging me, asking me about NFTs or crypto. And so the Super Bowl is going to be pretty much heavily focused on that because that's kind of the talk of the year. And I think you're going to see a lot of people, like you said, they're going to go to his Twitter. People that might not be in this space are going to be like, what the heck is this guy? Why does he have a cartoon? Like, what the hell is this? This is stupid. And then maybe they're like, well, maybe I'm a little bit more curious because there's a lot of talk about it. And then they see the price tag because a lot of people don't believe it. They see the price tag, $270,000. And you're like, what the hell? How the fuck did that happen?
Yep.
So like, people get a lot more interested in it. And I think we're going to see I think we'll see a little bit of an explosion in like, have a lot more gains in the NFT market side of things, and maybe not as effective for the crypto, but I think like Ethereum itself and NFTs, like different platforms, we're going to see a huge increase in volume over the next couple days.
Yeah, I think you're spot on, and that's something we'll probably hit on here at the end of the show too. Is kind of the fact that we can trade NFTs and crypto on the weekend, and we can't trade stocks.
Mm-hmm.
So like Super Bowl normally, well, we'll save that for the end. But Von Miller, so he has a Clone X. He also owns a Bored Ape. So again, Bored Ape, one of the biggest projects out there, one of the most valuable. Von Miller has that in his collection too, and it was actually previously his profile picture. You can see it right there. We've got the cowboy hat. This is an interesting one. We also have the fact that he owns a CryptoPunk. So again, very interesting that a player on the Rams, and here you can see his portfolio. He's got a ton of NFTs, but I mean, CryptoPunk, Bored Ape, Clone X, three of the biggest projects out there. Von Miller, Alpha Buddies right there on screen. We had them on for an interview months ago. That's a cool one. That's a smaller one. You could see that football trait. So that could be an interesting. There's Crypto Dads. So some of these smaller ones, Brian, maybe you start to get some interest over the weekend because of these players or these musicians also owning them, along with the bigger ones. What do you think of that? I mean, if you're a person who's into NFTs, you see Von Miller on the screen, hear that he, owns NFTs. Do you immediately try to go find his OpenSea and look and see what he owns and, start to get into some of those projects? Or do you just go, hey, this is his profile picture. This is the one that he cares the most about?
I think maybe the latter of what you said. This is the one he cares about. Because I don't know which one he really, really likes, but he does have a very selective collection. I'm sure that he gets sent NFTs all the time from different projects, but you can kind of tell which ones he's more of a fan of, which one he's not. And what's kind of cool is you can kind of get a vibe that he's not just doing this from like some sort of investment firm or for a marketing strategy or from having someone like an advisor to do it for him. It feels like he is actually, really passionate about it and wanting to collect these and looking at all these different projects himself. So that's always really, really cool to see, not just something to collect money or just because it's a trendy thing to do. He's actually, involved.
Yeah, and I was just pulling up his wallet here too, as Alyssa, of course, scrolls in the background here. And if I saw that right, he owns 2 Bored Apes. And Brian, he also owns 2 mutant serums that he has not used yet. There is some heavy speculation out there
Score
that
touchdown, boom.
yeah, I mean, I don't know if he'd be able to pull off the logistics, but when we talk about the halftime show in a minute, there's some rumors that we're going to see some mutant serums, put to work during the Super Bowl.
Hey,
So
Ocho Cinco hit a phone in the goalpost of
yeah,
years
right?
ago,
Hey,
for the Bengals. So hey, might happen. That's a throwback if anyone is old enough to know that one.
yeah, I definitely remember that. And shout out, we got Logan in the chat mentioning the Stafford jersey again. Matt Stafford, Super Bowl. He's probably going to win Super Bowl MVP, Brian, but the odds on him to win are only plus 100, so you don't win a ton of money. Let me tell you something, though. Because he loves NFTs, I want to root for Von Miller to win the Super Bowl MVP. Maybe he has a couple sacks, an interception, a forced fumble, and a defensive touchdown. If he wins the MVP, Brian, plus $4,500. Again, not financial advice to throw money on that bet. I would never tell you to do that. But I'm rooting for Von Miller to win Super Bowl MVP, and those NFTs of his will get even more attention. I got to scroll down a little bit here in the doc because I'm already skipping ahead. Odell Beckham Jr., also a Rams player, a wide receiver who, like Von Miller, played for a different team and became a building block of the Rams, right? So another interesting piece added to their puzzle. And if you go to Odell Beckham Jr.'s Twitter account, his profile picture is Dead Fellas. So Dead Fellas is one that we've talked about a lot on the show. They have they're going to be on the Coinbase platform. They were actually the banner photo for the Coinbase NFT account for a while. Dead Fellas 2.98 ETH floor, Brian. This is one, again, not financial advice, but if I had to pick one that could really benefit after this weekend, it'd be Dead Fellas because it's under 3 ETH. It's Odell Beckham Jr.'s profile picture, and he actually has lower odds to win the MVP at plus 2,500. And again, he's kind of a controversial guy. He could get a lot of attention and a lot of people going to his profile and looking at that Dead Fellas. So what do you think, Brian, of Dead Fellas? That's a pretty sweet one that he's rocking as his PFP there.
Yeah, I like that. I like the project, and I like OBJ because he's been in the crypto and NFT space for I know it's only been a short, maybe a year or two, but in this space that's 10, 20 years in retrospect. So I think he was like one of the original athletes to get a CryptoPunk and Bored Ape and stuff, and like change his profile picture and just dive into the whole crypto aesthetic. So I'm all about it. I like the Dead Fellas. I don't have one, so I don't really have any opinion either way on the project itself. But yeah, who knows if he'll win MVP? But we'll see. Like you said, he does have a ways to go. I think Von Miller might have a better chance. I'm definitely going to be on the Barstool Sports app, pretty much trying to pick and choose which ones I want to go with. So we'll see.
Yeah, and you mentioned CryptoPunk, Brian. Yeah, so Odell Beckham Jr. owns a CryptoPunk. And not only does he own it, not only was it his profile picture for a while, look at that picture, Brian. Before one of their games, he actually rocked his CryptoPunk on his shirt. I mean, look at that flex right there. That is awesome. I love it. And again, Odell Beckham Jr. also takes his salary.
Come on the roadmap, OBJ.
OBJ, after the Super Bowl, we got to have you on. He also takes his salary in Bitcoin. So, I mean, Brian,
we'll do whatever
Bitcoin,
it takes.
NFTs, this guy is all in on crypto and NFTs. So shout out to OBJ. But again, CryptoPunk owner, he owns Dead Fellas. I think Deadfellas is the one to kind of watch this weekend, but we'll see. He also owns, an ENS name. You can look at his wallet. He's got a ton of other NFTs in there. Again, some may have been gifted to him, some he bought, but very pro NFT. So another name to watch during the game. Brian, I hate to bring this next one up because I know it is a project that you had. We had the Atom Bomb Squad, which now has a floor price of, close your ears, Brian, 0.79. So they have had
it's better than the 8 it was.
Yeah, it was like 1.8 the one show when you were talking. So
that's when I was sad. I'm not as sad anymore.
Yeah, so they had a couple tweets out that they have an NFL partnership. And if you look, they have certain traits that kind of have football team colors and like football helmets. And there was speculation that if you owned one of those, you were going to get some additional rewards during and after the game. So
now I'm salty again.
So this is an interesting project to watch. And Brian, I mean, I know, it is trading higher than when you got in the first time. But again, not financial advice, but trading under 1 ETH. If this project gets some attention this weekend, I have to think that it's in play here, right? So, another one to put on everyone's watch list, just throwing it out there, my 2 cents and what we do here on the roadmap. Brian, I think it's time to get into the halftime show, right? So this is what a lot of people are excited about. I mean, and normally I don't get as excited about the halftime show performance because a lot of times it ends up being, a bunch of like pop singers, right? Although we have had some, great, rockers and, different performers. But this year we have a killer lineup of, some hip hop rap legends all performing. As I mentioned, in that Twitter poll, those performers, but let's center in on a couple, right? So we have Eminem. Again, shout out Detroit, closest we will ever be to being in the Super Bowl with Stafford and Eminem. Eminem is a Bored Ape Yacht Club owner. So Bored Ape getting a ton of love. Look at that. His profile picture, Brian.
Boom.
I mean, Marshall Mathers himself is going to perform. There's speculation that Bored Ape, of course, is, going to get mentioned during the halftime show. We're going to see Bored Apes turned into mutant apes during the halftime show. We're going to see a Bored Ape commercial, all kinds of stuff. And to go along with that, Snoop Dogg, who's performing with him, also owns a Bored Ape. What do you think, Brian? What's your guess here? Do we see Bored Apes just get attention because of who's performing, or is there actually something happening? Will we see Bored Apes during halftime on Sunday?
That'd be really cool. I mean, I have no idea. I think they'll definitely get attention because everyone has one, and it's like the most that them and CryptoPunks are most well known right now. I do want to say one thing that we'll clip out, but Eminem, Von Miller, OBJ, Snoop Dogg, anybody, if you want to come on and talk about NFTs or crypto on the roadmap, you just let us know. Just send a DM. We'll reach out. Let's make it happen. Just anybody who wants to, because
anybody. You heard,
very exciting.
You heard Brian. We want you all to come on. Brian, you saw Snoop Dogg up there on screen for a minute too. His profile picture actually, it looks like out of the Sandbox, right? So Snoop Dogg has a partnership with the Sandbox. So that's another topic that maybe people haven't been looking at because we've been so centered on Bored Ape. Do we get some sort of performance or focus on the metaverse Sunday? Is there any kind of hologram? Is there any kind of 3D avatar up on stage? Do they all kind of, leave the stage and enter the metaverse? Could that be something else that's happening behind the scenes? Maybe the Sandbox is going to be the winner after all that no one's talking about. What do you think of metaverse and Sandbox here?
So I don't know if we'll see a whole lot of it like on the stage or anything like that, but we'll definitely see a lot on Twitter. I think there'll be a lot of action. We will see a lot of different surprises with different metaverses and different projects. I know for the past probably 2 weeks or so on multiple different spaces that we've had and held, we've had metaverse projects and different NFT projects. But mainly metaverse projects kind of come on and explain like, hey, we got some really cool stuff happening for the Super Bowl that weekend. I can't really drop any just because, but you'll see. But there's so much of different stuff that's happening behind the scenes in the metaverse, because that's going to be, if you think NFTs are big, the metaverse, all of that is going to explode within the next couple months. And that's going to be the next hot topic. So definitely keep an eye out for that. And I think that the Super Bowl is what's going to start, trailing it off, and just the rocket ship's going to keep on guzzling forward, because we're going to see a whole lot of action when it comes to the sandbox or Decentraland or Upland. I think that's like one of the only ones I actually play every now and again. But yes, the metaverse is going to be huge, and I think there's going to be a lot of attention to it on social media.
Yeah, and I saw someone in the chat, saying that the Sand coin, right? So Sandbox has their own coin, SAND. We also have Decentraland with Mana, MANA. Those would be two to watch if we do get any mention of, the metaverse or digital land this weekend. Again, this is all just rumors, speculation, not financial advice. But the fact that Snoop Dogg has a partnership, he has land in the Sandbox, I feel like there's at least a chance, right, that we get a mention. I mean, remember, too, these performers are going to get interviewed over the weekend, too, right? They're not just going to perform. They're going to be doing press events. They're going to be doing, after parties, right? Talking to other celebrities. So maybe they can get other celebrities, other athletes on board into some of these other projects. So this is a huge topic. There's so much, going in to this weekend. What else do we have on here? I got through Atom Bomb Squad. Okay, so the last one to touch on here before we get to some of our questions from the chat. And guys, if you have questions, now's the time. Drop them in the chat if you're watching us live. Let us know, what do you want to hear about? What are your questions about Super Bowl, or what are your questions about NFT projects? I see a couple there. Brian, the other NFT project that I'm watching, but this is a harder one for people to get into, is Dapper Labs, the parent company of NBA Top Shot. They started releasing their packs of NFL All Day. So NFL All Day is not like a public open yet. It's still people that were on a wait list. So I was actually able to score a pack 2 weeks ago. I haven't opened it yet, but I think I might be opening it live on this show sometime, maybe tomorrow, teaser there. So if you guys want to see me open an NFL pack and some NBA Top Shot packs, let me know in the chat right now. But Brian, Dapper Labs has the rights now to make moments of NFL games. For the first time ever, they're going to be able to make these moments from the Super Bowl and then put them into packs in a week or two. What do you think of that? Are we going to see now, we saw this huge run on Top Shot when it first started and the low supply. Is this the perfect time now for NFL All Day to come out right around the playoffs and the Super Bowl? I mean, did they time it like this on purpose?
Oh, that guarantee it, 100%. And yes, it is the perfect time. I mean, it's gonna, because the NFT, I think a lot of people are now getting back into collectibles, and like we've discussed this multiple times, and it's pretty known fact that an NFT, or just a tokenized version of an asset, will kind of change how memorabilia and collector's items will be utilized and used in the future. And yeah, I mean, this is a perfect time to start. And honestly, these right here could have potential to be the next Pokemon cards. When I was a kid, it was all big. I had every card. I had one of the best Charizards. My parents threw them away when I was a kid because they were always everywhere. And I'm like, well, 20 years later, I'm like, well, you guys owe me $100,000, but they don't. But it could be that kind of thing where you get one of these, a Gen 0, Gen 1, or a Genesis version, and 10 years from now, you're looking at a pretty nice paycheck right there.
So Brian, as a sports fan, right, let me ask you this. So in NBA Top Shot, they of course have moments of 3-point shots, dunks, layups, and assists, right? So obviously, I think a lot of people tend to want like the dunks, right? Because they're a little bit flashier, than like an assist or a layup, right? NFL moments, right? So we've got, passes, catches, we've got, sacks by defensive players, we've got interceptions. Here's the sleeper, though, that I think out there as a sports fan that I would want to own. It sounds silly, but how about the kicker moments, right? The game-winning field goals. because that's what it actually is, the moment your team won a certain game. So I know that they have moments out there of the Bengals kicker hitting the game winner to send them to the Super Bowl. They aren't available. So that's the other thing. They haven't opened their marketplace yet to sell these moments. You can just, open and buy the packs. Once that marketplace opens, I really think that those kicker moments could be some of the most sought after because of the historical significance. What do you think? What NFL moments would you want to own, and what do you think of the kickers here?
I mean, yeah, you pretty much nailed it right on the head. There's that is going to be really cool, and that's a huge thing too, because you now have I just tried to pull up the so
Brian's watching some sports in the background.
Yeah, well, I was trying to pull up the kick to see to kind of see what it was and see how it would go down. But that's a really cool aspect too, because you have like for instance, maybe OBJ makes one of his like classic one-handed catches and it's the game-winning touchdown in overtime. Like that's a huge thing. If you're from Tennessee, for example, like I'm from Knoxville, and so Tennessee beat Georgia a couple of years ago in overtime with a Hail Mary pass, and like that's one of the most iconic pictures that you can find and stuff like that. That's huge, because if you have it and say it's straight from like Reuters or whatever the photo service that has it, or licensed by the NFL, it's gonna maybe a 1 of 1 or 1 of 10. You now have that, and it's pretty much the same thing as having like your own piece of art, just like a CryptoPunk or anything else. So I think that's really interesting and very exciting, because I really want some of those.
Yeah, and we got Logan, our boy, of course, in the chat saying that he wants all of the Lions classic fourth quarter comeback red zone last second turnovers. There is some interceptions on NFL All Day that I have seen. But yeah, I think if I got one of a Lions interception, I would probably have to sell it, just because I would hate to watch that moment as a Lions fan. But
I'm glad I'm not a Lions fan. I'm
I know
from Detroit, so
you luck out here. But you know what, Brian? We've suffered over the years so much that we just.
Well, I'm a Tennessee fan,
right?
So I'm a University of Tennessee fan. So trust me, I get it.
Yeah, it's part of our culture now. And again, I mean, this is why we root for Stafford in the Super Bowl, because that way we can feel like we're a part of something.
That's right.
That we're participating.
I was a Broncos and a Colts fan because of Peyton.
Yeah, there you go. I did see a question from Logan asking about those the NFL NFTs from Ticketmaster, right? So we talked about that. Brian, one thing to add to that, right, is that don't you think during the Super Bowl they're gonna at least run not a commercial but flash on the screen at some point, like go to this website to buy Super Bowl NFT tickets? And if they do that, I feel like the price on some of those existing NFTs could go up, because those Super Bowl ones aren't going to be available until the fans at the stadium sell their ticket. What do you think? If they put that website on screen, do people go after those, earlier releases?
Yeah, I would assume so. The one thing that I think they actually do a pretty good job of, but how they've handled it, and of course they're pretty smart, but this kind of takes having the bots in it, takes that whole aspect out, because the tickets are given to people if you've bought a ticket, or you have to buy it with a card. You can't buy it through a blockchain, but then you can mint it to your, then you access it after you purchase it, you send it to your whatever. But that kind of that's one cool aspect of NFT and tokenization of tickets and this memorabilia, is you're limiting the number of scams and limiting the number of people, like even shoe resellers, where they'll buy a whole stock of Yeezys and then that's what drives the price up. But now you can't do that with these commemorative tickets, which is really cool. And I think that adds a lot more value to them in turn when people try to sell them immediately, or they'll hold them for a longer. The value will kind of stay steady and it'll be worth it. So I kind of answered like 4 questions right there, but yeah, that's how I feel about it.
Yeah, definitely. All right, well, I think that's a ton on the Super Bowl here. We did get some other questions. Brian, why don't we talk about Karafuru for a minute? This was one that you brought up a minute ago, and I saw in the chat. I forgot who brought it up now. But let's pull it up. Oh, here it is. Vitals. Thoughts on Karafuru reveal tomorrow. So, Brian, this is one that I had actually forgotten about.
I know nothing about it.
I knew the name. Again, 154,000 followers on Twitter and a Discord of 88,000. So a big following. And here's something to throw out there, Brian. On Twitter, I have 73 followers in common with Karafuru. And again, I follow a ton of NFT accounts. That means there's a lot of people following this. So this is unrevealed, right? They're not all bots. It's unrevealed right now. And we already have a floor of 3.78. And Brian, speaking of supply, there's only 5,555 available. That's why your price is so high right now, right? Demand is super high. Supply is super low. I mean, my guess is that when we get a reveal, we see a bit of a dip. But with that many people out there, I tend to think that we actually go higher than that floor price, you know, maybe next week, depending on how strong that art looks cool. Those colors jump off the screen, Brian. I don't know anything about their roadmap. I don't
even know how to get one.
I'll have to do some digging on that. Well, you can't get one now because they minted out, but you can buy one on OpenSea. But yeah, so to answer your question in the chat, you know, I would hold it going into the reveal based on that demand and that low supply. But I think we see maybe a short-term dip, but I think this one could run based on those numbers and the strong interest. So just my thoughts. Not financial advice.
Yeah, I would say the same as this is not financial advice. This is something I personally do, and I don't recommend, you know, I'm not going to recommend it out. What I personally do is I would never sell at the reveal of anything because it's going to be a dip, and that's when you're going to see the rip. It'll either fall or jump, but I have a higher chance of success of making a bigger ROI if I hold through instead of kind of gambling to see how it interacts with the community and everything. So I don't know why people would sell immediately after seeing it, unless you have like a couple, like unless you have 4 or 5 of them. But if you only have like 1 or 2, just, you know, I would just hold it out. Not financial advice, and not financial advice.
Brian, here's a good question, right? Let's say you decide to sell before the reveal, right? Let's say maybe you mint 5 of something, you sell a couple to get your money back, and you hold the others. Okay, let's say you do that. Do you go after the reveal and look at the ones you sold, or do you just know that those are forever gone and you don't want to look in case they were rare?
Personally, yeah, I forget about it. I don't look back because then I'll just sulk and I'll just be like, and feel bad about it. So like, I just, you know, I do the same thing with stock trading or crypto trading. Like, you know, try to keep emotions out of it. And if I take a loss and then I get out a stupid time, then it shoots back up. Well, I learned my lesson. I just, you know, on to the next one.
Yeah, I mean, I tend to have a tendency to still go look, which is my problem. You know,
you're just torturing yourself.
You are, and that's the thing. You know, yeah, and Alyssa's saying that she looks back as well. Yeah, I mean, it's torture, but it's just my nature.
Like hedonistic.
My nature to want to go look and see. But yeah, like you said, you do have a tendency then to sulk and be upset, be sad. So
you're punishing yourself pretty much.
Yeah, like, my advice out there is if you sell before reveal, just take your profit and don't look back. Look forward.
Delete all social media and just turn off your computer.
Look at the next project, right? Find your next one. We're running out of time here. I did see of course, Logan in the chat mentioning Heart Project. I saw Ryan mentioning Hype Bears. Brian, Hype Bears was on the top 10 list we talked about yesterday for sales volume last week, right? So this is one that I didn't know a ton about, but I was following from behind the scenes. I haven't owned any. They are pre-reveal as well. A supply of 10,000 and a floor of 0.65. I actually kind of like that price. You know, on a pre-reveal with a lot of hype, you know, pun intended, behind it. So, you know, not financial advice, but definitely has been on my watch list, Ryan, you know, through doing research and writing about it. I think they look cool.
They look like, what's the name? The
I can't think of the brand. Cause, right? Yeah. Right outside in front of the Benzinga headquarters. Shout out to Benzinga HQ, downtown Detroit. You can see that Cause statue. Also, shout out to our boy Logan in the chat saying great show.
And Ryan,
smash the like, and Ryan. Yeah, I mean, shout out to those guys. You know, great crypto and NFT content here. I want to tease everyone. I mentioned it a little bit with the NFL pack. I think, depending on what happens tomorrow, I think I might be opening some Top Shot and NFL packs. I know you're going to be away, Brian, so I hate to do that without you, but we want to keep the show going. Okay. So anyone in here watching or listening, if you want to see me open some Top Shot packs and the NFL pack that I got that hopefully has a kicker moment, leave a comment right now in the chat or hit me up on Twitter and say open them packs, or you can say win packs like Logan did earlier. Let us know. Brian, we'll be back. I'll be back tomorrow. We'll be back next week. I mean, we have so much to talk about next week, right? Because now we get to follow up on all these Super Bowl projections and predictions. So very exciting times. Big shout out to our sponsor, FTX, for today's episode and sponsoring the show. And again, watch the Super Bowl, find that FTX commercial, retweet it for your chance to win free Bitcoin. Free, right? All you got to do is retweet a tweet. That doesn't take very long, right? And if you're watching the game anyways, why not? And speaking of why not, if you haven't signed up for an account already, you can find details below on how to sign up for a free FTX account where you can trade crypto, you can buy NFTs with no gas fees on Ethereum and Solana blockchain. So shout out and check out FTX. Brian, I think that's going to do it. Anything else to add, about the Super Bowl or the show?
I have one thing to add for my boy Ryan. Follow Ryan on Twitter. He's very close to 1,000. I know he really wants 1,000 followers.
We got to tag him here.
Ryan On Chain is his at Ryan On Chain.
All right, we got to link this.
I got you, buddy.
Here we go. I just put it in the chat. So did Alyssa. There we go. Everybody. All right. Everyone go follow Ryan right now. Let's do it. Let's get him to 1,000 today. Today's the day. Nothing's stopping it.
So need about a little over 70. 1 Bitcoin for each follow, he says. He's promised.
Not financial advice, guys. Yeah.
He's partnered with Binance to do so.
Yeah. All right. What a great episode. Brian, I'm excited to talk to you next week on everything that happened during the big game. And again, go Stafford, go Rams. We'll catch everyone later. Stay tuned. You got pre-market prep at the close coming up soon, where Spencer and Joel will go over all the top trending stocks and crypto of the day. And you can get all those details right here live on Benzinga TV. Stay tuned. Smash that like and take care.